Yeah. This episode, Mr. Mox, we're going to do our. We're actually going to talk about something completely unrelated to what the show is all about.
Should we rename ourselves to Divergent Worlds?
Right. Yes, we are divergent, I guess.
Today we are, anyway.
Yeah.
Welcome to Disparate Worlds, where an irresistible force meets an immovable object. I'm Mox, and this is Sechari, and we are comparing and contrasting the worlds of Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, and Ashes of Creation.
Yes, finally. It feels like it's been a while, Mr. Mox.
It has. You are being like a slacker and not like wanting to do anything and sleeping all the time and skipping work and not doing anything, so,
Well, no, I did have 2 COVID shots in there. Does that count? Does that help me out? Yeah.
I guess it does, yeah. Where's your third head, though?
All right, I got this Microsoft Windows tattoo that just doesn't seem to want to go away. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been, 3 weeks or so since we did episode 26, but we're back. You can't get rid of us like a bad itch. We refuse to go away. So it is episode 27. Welcome, and it's really good to see you guys again, to have you with us. As always, please do the like and subscribe thing. Always important to us. Help a brother out. Yeah. This episode, Mr. Mox, we're going to do our. We're actually going to talk about something completely unrelated to what the show is all about.
Should we rename ourselves to Divergent Worlds?
Right. Yes, we are divergent, I guess.
Today we are, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about New World. We promised we wouldn't do this, but it seems like we have to. Yeah. So it's interesting. Where we are right now is in a bit of a dry spell with both Pantheon and with Ashes of Creation.
Right. They're both still putting out news and monthly updates, but really the stuff that's coming from them is kind of, it's, while interesting, it isn't earth-shattering.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, and that makes sense, right? Because Pantheon, Visionary Realms have told us, okay, we're at the stage where we're going to have to do some network things, and we're going to have to do some, let me make sure I don't get this wrong, HDRP things, right? That's some, and we spoke about the some in our last episode. But they're having to work on some systems that will unlock the ability to show us more things. So that's what's going on with them. Ashes of Creation, they are post Alpha 1 now and are unpacking all of that and are, data mining all of that and finding what all they can do and actioning a bunch of items as a result of that. So we really are in both development cycles kind of in a bit of a spell where they're trying to show us things, right? And have shown us some pretty cool things, I would say. But being held back, right? Like showing us the latest, newest, cutting-edge thing is and it's good. We're happy to wait. Good things
absolutely.
Coming. We do have news, yeah. It creates a little bit of an opportunity for us just to talk about some things that we've been working on lately with regard to our community. So we'll get into that. Yeah, I see, Mox. Let's get into your news.
Yes, okay.
Go. Bring us the
Pantheon news. All right, so September 3rd had us getting the developer roundtable with Kilson. He kind of hosts that monthly, but he had on there project producer and director of communications, Ben Mikhail Dean, and our favorite person over there, Chris Joppa Perkins, creative and programming director. And they talked about production and communication and things of that nature. Almost on the heels of that, on September 12th, they did their video, which was their live stream, but it came out on video, of the building of Wild's End, which was amazing. Like, it's really cool. The scale of it is astonishing. Like, they showed us a lot of little, some of the art where you saw like a tiny little human against these huge plants, and this is like Halfling World, and it's like ginormous. Like, you wouldn't think that. You'd think halfling world. It's going to be cute and
Yeah.
tiny and all that, but no,
yeah,
it's
big
vast.
measured up against the
Yeah.
humans. Imagine what it's going to be measured up against the poor little halflings.
They're not poor. They are scrappy.
The rich little halflings.
Well, they probably are
yeah.
rich, but they're scrappy. But one of the cool things that Joppa mentioned during that is he ran from one end of like when he zoned in to the far end of the zone. It took him 20 minutes to run through that. That just gives you an idea of the scale of the world.
And that's not even having to stop to fight things, right? That's just booking it.
Exactly.
So that's really
cool. September 16th, we got the newsletter, their monthly newsletter, and the biggest thing in there probably was again they're kind of reiterating where they are in their roadmap. So they're keeping us up to date with that, which is very good. I like the fact that they have, like, they're marking things off, like this is in progress.
It's very itemized.
It's really good. Again, it's that level of transparency that we are getting from both studios, which I do like. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But they mentioned that Tim Schuler joined them as an environmental artist. They also mentioned that the gray box layout of Wild's End is done, and 3D assets for the Mad Moor. Ooh. That sounds scary. He's mad.
Yes.
And he's a Moor.
All right. I don't think it's a person. I think it's a place, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, I guess.
So, I mean, maybe you end up mad. Maybe you can be the mad person.
Exactly.
Who knows?
So, and then they are still working on converting the gray boxing of the entire King's Reach continent. They're working on itemization, and they are working on storyline stuff, and for Aventur's Pass and Black Rose Keep. Classes are being implemented. The Cleric and Warrior are making progress. The Ranger and Summoner, kind of we mentioned last episode, are on hold. Mm-hmm. And as Sechari mentioned, the HDRP project is complete and functional. But they still have to like import assets into that and kind of make it fully functional. Dispositions. This I thought was interesting. They're putting systems in place to support randomization of dispositions. So each time you go into an area, or whether it's a dungeon or out in the world, things are going to be slightly different. So that will be cool. Maybe that poison spell will hit extra hard, or maybe not as hard as the last time you were there. So that all that stuff will be cool, and then some more NPC models. So a lot was mentioned in the newsletter. We will have a link to it in our notes. So please, if you haven't checked that out, give it a whirl.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have links to all of those videos, anything that we reference. Check the description down below. It will be there. It will. So, on to Ash's news. There's a few things right after we published our episode number 26. They did their August development update. So it's kind of old news now. It's been some weeks. We're not going to rehash it too much. We did see some gliding mounts. That was really the big highlight of it, right? Of the video that they showed. Right. Steven jumped off a cliff on something and glided down, and mentioned that once you level the mount up, the glide distance will be further. So that was cool to see. I like that there's, if you don't have flight available to you, at least you can spoof it, right? You can glide and maybe feel like you can fly. I don't know.
It may be a different way to travel. It'd be interesting to see also how mounts level in that game. Like, they level by like using them. Obviously it can't be out during combat, so like how does do they level with you? Like, as you gain experience, they're gaining a percentage of it. Like, that'll be interesting to learn how they what that mechanic's like.
Yes, yeah, I absolutely fully agree.
Do you think that's going to transfer into ground mounts being slightly faster as they level?
It's possible. I mean, I found out very quickly in Alpha 1 that there are mounts that are certainly designed for water, and there are mounts that are certainly designed for land, and they are not good at the opposite.
Okay, yeah.
Although you can use them. I mean, they're clunky and slow. So there is that, and I imagine you can probably level them up.
I mean, if you can level the gliders up, it would make sense that you could level the swimmers up or the riding. It'll be interesting, again, to see if that's in there.
Right. Absolutely. I'm excited to find out as well. Right on the heels of that, of course, they published their next cosmetic set, the Colosseum's Favored cosmetics, based on the Ren'Kai. It's very samurai and kind of like a dojo kind of look for your freehold. It was very good to see. So do check that out. Again, link below for all of this stuff. And then September 17th, midway through the month, I've noticed a retweet of a massively OP article where they mentioned that a former ESO lead writer is now a senior narrative designer at Intrepid. Narrative designer, right? That we're talking about large overall stories. So I'm excited to see content. Right. I think that was the one thing that Alpha 1 was lacking, was content, right? Obviously, it's Alpha 1. They're testing systems. Right. Makes sense. But having quest content and lines, I think it would have certainly helped make that. So hopefully Alpha 2 will see some of that. Then into the future, I imagine by the time we get this episode out there, it'll probably be right synced up. September 24th, this coming Friday. There's a development update live stream, the September one, so do check that out. And then on the 26th,
Sunday.
It's 2 days after that, yes. Stephen Sharif will be appearing with the Big Cheek Giant on his show, the Discussion Round podcast. So that'll be at noon Pacific time if you care to join. Cool. So good for you guys. So 100th episode is very awesome. It's a milestone in podcasting.
We're crawling our way towards there. So earlier this month, we got a chance to participate in the New World Open Beta. It was their final kind of, I think, stress test, and it really, you can't really call it a content test because you really couldn't get much done in like 3 days. But I mean, there were people that apparently stayed up like all weekend and played, because there were people that were in their 30s. But yeah, that's crazy. I enjoyed it, and our goal as you know, kind of content producers there, was to get a whack at the first dungeon.
Yes, and we did. Yeah. It was Amaran Expedition. We managed to make our way to it. How did it go, Mox?
You know, it was good. You know, you had to deal with it with a crappy healer. You know, so he was awful. He couldn't keep anybody alive. So you had that. Yeah, so you had that as a handicap. But that...
He also has no hair and hosts this show, just in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah, so I healed there, which is not my primary forte anymore. Like, I used to heal, and I may heal again in a tab targeting game, but I did not like action target healing.
Yeah. I was tanking, so I noticed.
It was hard.
Your lack of performance, sir, was my lack of performance.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
of course, I get to blame the healer, but it's probably my lack of performance.
Yeah,
also.
It was challenging, and I think we determined at the end, like, we got to the final boss, but just couldn't really get anywhere with that boss. So we struggled through some of the minor boss fights, the lower bosses, but we got them, which was good.
Yeah, we figured out the mechanics. We learned as we went, and managed to get all the way to the last guy.
Our determination, though, at the end of this is you get offered this mission about level 20. You have no business going in there until level 25,
right.
Though.
I think we were 24 to 26. That was what it felt like in our group.
We even had
probably
20,
31, 32.
We had like a 23 and a 22, I think, also as DPS. So the issue ultimately was levels. Like levels for holding aggro, gear, skills, like you didn't have enough points, possibly builds, like healing build apparently there was another healing build that was different than what I was doing, that could have been different.
It was also a bit of a DPS check. I think that's kind of what that boss was. We just didn't have the output, but we learned that, right? You go in there, you play with it, you analyze what is the issue here, and that was what we came out with. So at least now we know that for launch. So even though your story leads you there, you've got to be pursuing other quests. Do quests broadly, and go in there to Amaran probably around level 30, I imagine, with a group around that same level.
Exactly. And also be pursuing other aspects of the game we've learned as well. Like you need to kind of be well-rounded. You need to be willing to buy the stuff that you need to kind of get there. Like, for example, you have to be a certain level of mining to mine silver to be able to do the staff, or you have to be willing to go buy it, which...
Yes, the main story leads you into things that you have to group for that are complicated, right? You can't just single story your way through. You have to work with other people to get through that, and it's gated sometimes by a list level check or a DPS check, right? Or so you have to be doing a lot on the side. So our advice, I think, in general, is just progress the story slowly, take your time with it, and be running a lot of side content as you go. I think it'll be easy enough.
That all being said, when September 28th rolls around and we all join the US East server that we're planning to join, there's like the idea that we want to get together with these other communities, with Pantheon Plus, with Nathan, Napalm, and with Kid Lee's communities. So we have formed a company.
Yes, we have incorporated, sir.
Yes,
not the American business version, though. Really. Right? It's very, very different. So in the 1700s and the 1800s, right, that's how Britain and them used to colonize the world. It was really the battery for moving out there and establishing commerce and stuff was a company, right? But it was also like you make it kind of military and send it out there and do fur trading and all of those kind of things. So that's kind of the idea here behind the use of company. Mox, explain the word Vela. Why does that suddenly come up at this point?
Well, Vela is the Latin word for sail, or the sails, and we chose that because there's a constellation called Vela, and it's made up, obviously, it's a constellation, it's made up of stars, and these stars all represent all these various communities that are coming together to form this one entity or constellation. So that's kind of where the inspiration came from. Right. So we each are contributing our own people, our own efforts and things of that nature to make this happen. But it's been successful so far. Like, the game hasn't even launched, and we have a up and running Discord server. Many thanks, by the way, to Ten and Nankersor for their help in getting that up and running, and they're going to help us kind of run the guild, the four of us, and we'll have some other people that will be also helping out with lesser roles and within the guild, helping us with invites and things of that nature. But we do have kind of a council of consuls, so to speak.
A consulate? I don't know. There's got to be a name for this.
It probably is. It's probably a pantheon.
Yeah. Now, I want to say, guys, okay, so the reason that we have decided to do an episode about something that's what we don't do episodes on is for our community, right? We have been threatening this in the last 2 episodes. Yes, there's going to be a guild, and as this game gets started, we're going to play it, and we're going to work with these other people. Well, we're giving you the information. We have approximately 50 of us already together. The people are excited. The Discord server is jamming right now as we speak. I can see it on that screen, right? I mean, there's a lot going on. People are excited. There's talk about the trade craft and the weaponry and
the
things.
Various builds.
Oh my goodness, it's people are very excited. So we want you to come join us. Those of you who are our faithful followers, we want to game with you. The Discord server link and the Twitter link is down below. Come jump in. Now, Mox, can you tell people about where we're going to be rolling, on what server, what faction?
Syndicate, first of all, and I mentioned US East. We had kind of determined that ultimately that gives the most availability for people to participate in group events. Right. So time zones and all that complications. Central would have been nice, but they're not offering one. So
we even have US some East, EU folks. There's a couple that I know that want to join us. So I think East Coast helps them out, right? The ping is a little less.
Helps them out a little bit, yeah. They'll be playing till 2 in the morning instead of till 4
right.
So that probably is helpful. Yeah. And then we just got the published server list. They put it out there. It looked to be about 3 times the size of the open beta.
Good. It needed more servers. So, those servers were packed.
Exactly, they were. We're going to try and steer away from the servers that the big streamers are going to, so that we don't have to deal with like large
with the Zerg,
with the Zerg of those. Like, if you have 10,000 followers and even a small percentage of them play, that's going to be a lot of people that are joining that server. So, so that's US East, the 28th. If you join our Discord, we'll let you know what server at least a couple days in advance, if not sometime probably in the next day or two.
I imagine the next day or two is realistic. We'll have a decision on the server, and we'll make sure everybody knows. We'll make sure it gets out on all of our communication streams.
Exactly. So, Discord down below, as Sechari mentioned. Twitter down below if you want to follow our antics and things there. We'll have members that are streaming. So it's gonna be a fun time. I'm really looking forward to it.
As am I. I think it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun to play an MMO with friends again. Especially something new.
Absolutely.
With all of the new graphics and nice things that we get. So.
Absolutely. Exactly. Come join us. Join us on Facebook at facebook.com/disparateworlds, on Twitter at disparateworlds, and our website is disparateworlds.org. In addition, on our website and in the description below is a link to our Disparate Worlds Discord, and we will also have links to our Vela Discord. That's a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
But join us there, please. Join us on both. Come chat with us everywhere. We would love to hear from you.
Agreed. Would love to hear from you. That is very important. That's it for us this episode. Thank you so much for watching. We love that you are here. Do the thing. Do the comment, the like, the subscribe. All of those are very important. They help us out. And also, we get to hear from you and engage with you in the community. That's what's most important. Notification bell. That's also another step. That way you do not miss upcoming episodes. That's it. Take care of yourselves, friends. Remember always to be immovable in your principles and irresistible in your passion.